The 13-10 and NiP flying that Swedish flag with pride right now.
NiP are just playing very good Counter-Strike. Obviously, the fact that they won both pistol rounds has really helped them. That's given them 3-0 leads to open both halves, so that's basically 6 free rounds just out of the gate for the Swedes. Not that they didn't earn them, but it is a big advantage for them. And they've really followed up since then. I mean, 8-0 so far on the terrorist side here. And VeryGames just look like they have no answers for the Ninjas here.
Is VeryGames CT that bad, or is NiP's T that good?
I think NiP's T side is just that good. They're the ones playing super well, not so much VeryGames. I mean, VeryGames aren't playing out of this world, but they're not making many mistakes. NiP are just dismantling them all across the map.
13-10 the score. Players like Scream and Shocks can turn a game on its head. And that's what happened in that first half. As Forest is at the double doors. NiP feeling out their opponents, seeing whether they can get any information, any early frags. No ill discipline from VeryGames. They've played this round by the book. 4 Famises and an M4 for them about to be called into action as Forest is asking for attention. The bomb rotating around towards long A. Forest is not going to engage. He's just sucked 2 players out. And now he's going to go for a push. It's all on Shocks. 1 for Shocks. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. Shocks comes alive to the sound of fragging. Goes for the next one. Can't get it. Fifth Laren and Get Right pull back the scoreboard. We're at a 3v3. Famus goes through, and there he is, Get Right to get that frag. But it came at a cost. 19 health on Get Right, 53 on Forest, 38 on Fifth Laren against 2 fully held Frenchmen. As they push in now, Smith dispatches a Forest, and it's all on Fifth Laren in the sight to go through. Now Get Right. Oh, Smith says no. And VeryGames stop the rot, get themselves on the board for the first time in the second half.
And that is and we were talking about how it was likely going to take an individual performance from VeryGames to get on the board. Now we finally saw Smith step up. He got 3 kills there in a 2v3 situation. We see it here again as a replay, and just good play by Smith, but...
And Shocks before that.
Yeah,
2
Shocks
frags
before that.
all the damage down there.
Exactly. And, you know, it's still a long way to go. They don't have a lot of money for this round, and NiP are still looking so strong. VeryGames needs more help from their stars.
Well, let's see whether they're going to get it here. 2 players in B. The bomb has made its way back to mid, and calm restored, albeit momentarily. NiP 13-11 up here in the semi-final map 1.
And NiP just playing very slow. They don't want to take any risks either. It actually resembles VeryGames' terrorist side quite a bit.
Bomb is down on the catwalk, about to be picked up by Fifth Laren, the designated man. 2 players on that catwalk ready to bait.
Good nade there by NBK. Does about 45 damage on Freiburg. NiP look to be grouping up on catwalk. We'll see. Oh, another good nade. Freiburg just down to 19 health now. And this is where the push is going to come from NiP.
2 nades out from Freiburg as he leads the assault for them. Existence goes to see Freiburg. No, he's just past him. Existence pops his head up, gets 1, gets 2. Nice work. MBK comes in. Frag onto Forest. Here we go. And as VeryGames turn the screw as they begin their comeback. 3 quick frags for them. Open up a very, very tough sight for NiP. They've got Get Right and Fifth Laren still alive. Both can go big when they need to, but both aren't this time.
What a huge round by the VeryGames leader. Existence getting those 2 very crucial entry kills. And once again, a triple and a double from VeryGames. All of a sudden, they have 2 rounds won in a row. And it doesn't look all that impossible anymore, although NiP still are favored. Nice shots there by Existence. 2 quick bursts, 2 headshots, just almost flawless play.
And from VeryGames' perspective, no deaths.
No deaths. That means more money in the bank. And they're actually smart in the sense that they're not dropping their FAMASes to get better guns just yet, because they can't afford to be forced to save if they lose 1 more round.
And hey, Existence in that FAMAS, not too shabby.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Though he has an AK this round. Right after I say that, I noticed. Freiburg in the double doors. 2 big rounds from VeryGames. Still hasn't been enough to even pull them back level. They need this to level it up. As MBK spammed by Exist, who's been quiet. But that's sometimes his style.
NiP just running their default once again. Freiburg taking over the catwalk area. We'll see if they're going to actually do something different this round. I would expect them to stop attacking catwalk maybe go towards the long area where they've had quite a lot of success earlier. VeryGames haven't really been able to match them there, but we'll see what happens here.
Doesn't look like that's the case.
They look to be grouping up on Catwalk once more.
3 to move Catwalk, 1 in B tunnels and 1
And
going
what a
A
good
long.
grenade by Existence. Does 100 damage on 2 players. He sees NiP getting on top of the A side now.
Existence still sat deep, bounces his nade off the wall, ready to attack as the flash comes in. Here goes Existence, frag number 1. Freiburg out for the count. It's Existence up next, and Existence will down his namesake and will go for number 3. Can he get it? It's Forest this time. Huge, huge frag here, gets it! Existence, hat-trick! Fifth Laren stops the rot with 1 onto MBK, but Existence has carried this team through, taking out the bomb carrier. Get right out courtesy of Scream, and now Existence for frag number 4! Can't do it! Fifth Laren pushes back, but Shocks will get it, and VeryGames have tied it up!
And what a huge round by Existence. Once again, getting those 3 entry kills. I mean, you said his FAMAS was good. His AK is looking pretty good too. Just really nice shots, and he played it so smart on the rail. I kept watching him the whole round. He didn't over-peek. Many players would have simply peeked Forest there, gotten their head taken out. Existence waited for his teammate to throw that flash, and he was able to get that 3rd kill, and the game is tied at 13 apiece.
All tied up. Auto sniper for Existence this time. There's his prize. And Shocks has kept the FAMAS. I think MBK's got what was Existence's AK. Sorry, yeah, Scream has got it. And what a tournament this has been.
What a match this has been.
Just as we were writing, VeryGames
has
dust
it
the
not
victory.
live up to everything I've said? 13-13.
So far.
So far. Are you not entertained?
Oh, I am entertained, Russell Crowe. Forest will go A Catwalk once again. This is the 3rd round in a row he's done this. As he pushes in, he will nade out and fall back. They've just left the bomb there. They've made no commitments just yet. And MBK waits, and MBK is dropped. Exist gets it, and that's big for NiP. First time they've got the entry frag in a few, and they need to push that one on. It's going to be 2 players still up on Catwalk, 1 at double doors. Not able to fill that hole yet. Bomb going to come A once more for NiP as Freiburg will lead the assault. Shocks is going to see some action with Fifth Laren on the other side, but Existence auto sniper only down 1. Fifth Laren's got himself the frag onto Shocks, and NiP have taken control of A and have a 2-on-4 in a minute after plant situation with Smiths and the other gun carrier Scream deciding this isn't a fight we can win.
They really need to save these weapons. VeryGames don't have a lot of money saved up despite winning those rounds. So it's very crucial for VeryGames to be able to save these 2 weapons, because otherwise NiP are going to be very favored to get their 15th round and get a couple map points to try to win the first map here.
So far in this game, Existence hasn't hit it with the auto sniper. When you give him a cheaper weapon, he's nailed it.
Yeah. One part of that is also it looks like NiP's pretty good at. I mean, NiP's been hitting their shots. When you have an auto sniper, you sort of have to be just standing still for a little bit. It takes you a couple. Rate of fire isn't very fast, so it takes you a couple seconds to get those 2 bullets out to kill the opponent. And I mean, he killed the first guy, but Forrest just instantly replied before Existence could readjust his aim. When he was using a FAMAS or an AK, he could do quick peeks and just go back to hiding, wait for his teammates to flash, peek again.
So here we go. NiP 2 rounds away from victory, but these are not going to be 2 easy rounds. Say goodbye from VeryGames. They're going all in for this one, and they'll be in a tough position if they don't, as they try to stave off any situation of overtime if they can avoid it. Freiburg will rally down, and the pressure has been turned up a dial here, as the map is in the balance for both teams. Smiths retreats back towards that B site. No love for the B site from NiP thus far. We've seen it all at A almost. And they will look to move the bomb, and 3 players down towards the long A tunnels where Shocks has been waiting. He's desperate for some action, and he's going to see it on the other side of that smoke as Freiburg And Shocks will push in. He's right up and close and personal, and Freiburg heard him and moved in and got himself the kill. Pushing through now, and someone's got to shut down long A, or it's all going to be NiP here. NBK got one, but McLaren picks him off before he can do any more damage. The rotation is quick. They're going to make the jump over, and the AWP into the smoke doesn't deliver, and Scream is in with Smiths. Scream's got to watch Smiths back because he's in a tough spot there as they push him up. Frag number 1 comes in for Freiburg. Smith's in trouble. Bomb planted. He wants to get out, but they're going to hound him down. And it's 2 match points for NiP.
That it is indeed. And not a lot of money for VeryGames. NiP are big favorites right now to score this first map win here in the semifinals of DreamHack winner.
You're putting the Lurpis Esports funds on NiP now for this map?
Yes. And the fine has gotten considerably bigger from my previous correct prediction yesterday.
The Lurpis Esports fund is on bounce CPL check, so it's not really, real money.
Yeah, but come on, man.
2 rounds left in this one. NiP. Well, let's talk more about VeryGames weapons. A FAMAS only. They bought the grenades they can. And P250s, but there's not much there. You see a double VeryGames stack that Forest mows down. Scream gets picked up and Freiburg goes in. And NiP looking hot right now. Whereas MBK will get himself a big frag. Looks to try and...
But NiP have taken over the B bomb site, and that is one of the easier sites in the entire game to defend once you get the bomb planted. And NiP are going to be running away with the map number 1 here. 16-13 for the Swedes, who score a big map win for VeryGames. Of course, this is a best of 3. So we still have potentially two more maps of Counter-Strike to go, but NiP made a statement here early on.
That they did, and look at the Swedish crowd going wild for NiP. Let us hear you one more time. Great stuff. VeryGames know that they were in that contest. They didn't go down without a fight whatsoever, and from their position, they will feel after their comeback, after their 2 big rounds that they fought so hard for, that it was almost in their hands. But NiP picked it up. They finished off the job at 10-5 at halftime. You said it might not be enough.
Yeah.
Proved not to be. And in the end, the CT side of VeryGames on Dust just wasn't strong.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too worried if I was VeryGames just because they lost both pistol rounds. That one pistol round that gives them 3 rounds would have actually been enough to top that map. So I think both teams actually played very, very even. It's just about as even as they could get, but it was the 2 pistol round wins that really set NiP apart. And for that, they can thank Forest, who scored 3 kills on both pistol rounds.
Well, as I take a look over to our hosts, I can tell you that a teddy bear has joined the group.
Yeah, looks like we got a new crew member here.
And it is first map to NiP. 16-13 to them. They go into Inferno with the wind in their sails. All the players have dispatched. Out they go for their token snooze and whatever else they do on their break. Talk us through, whilst we wait on the host, talk us through what happens at a moment like this for both sides.
Well, NiP is going to be standing somewhere in a bit of a huddle, and they're just going to be telling each other it's not over. It's potentially two more really, really tough maps to play, and they're going to be talking. They're already forgotten about the first map. They're only talking about the next map now. So they want to figure out what exactly they want to do. They're going to talk over their pistol rounds for Inferno, try to figure out what to do, talk about what VeryGames usually does, just get as ready mentally as you potentially can prior to the match.
Okay, we're going to throw it back over to our hosts. BSL, what you make of that? Going to take your clothes off again?
Welcome back to the studio here at the DreamHack Steel Series CSGO Championships. Wow, what a first map, what a start to this series between VeryGames and NiP. Dust 2 essentially in NiP's favor, 16 rounds to 13. And I'm joined here in the studio by a ninja in pajamas.
Woo! What a match, holy smokes. Good stuff.
You just got that?
Hell of a comeback, yeah. Hell of a comeback.
Where did you get the pajama from?
I got it from Heaton.
Okay.
And I warned him. I said, I'll wear it, but you know, I wore a USA hoodie when I by power played, and it did not work out so well. So you tell me if you want to wear it. He's like, if we win map 1, wear it. I'm like, all right.
You talked to him earlier, and you said that he was really nervous about the match. How nervous do you think he was when VeryGames pushed the first half to 10-5?
I would imagine very nervous. Again, obviously he knows his players well enough to know that they can bounce back from a deficit. But again, in talking to him, the nerves of this documentary crew and all these losses, and VeryGames being the team that has beat him, again, like, never seen this man so worried in his entire life. And he even said that I've never in all my years been a player. This is it. So he's got to be ecstatic because again, he said this is the finals. He's very confident if they get through this.
Thorin, NiP took the pistol round on CT. Then what happened?
Well, I mean, what we saw from VeryGames here was strange. It's hard to tell whether VeryGames started well and then they faltered, or whether it was NiP starting badly and then they actually picked up their form. It seemed early on like VeryGames was strong, and when you look at the end half and you see 10-5, you think, okay, that's fair enough. You did just about enough there. You have to, but no, it could have been a lot more. That's the problem. So that was like the minimum they got out of it. They were so strong early, and then you can see after that it was all NiP. NiP went on this insane run on the second half. And listen, usually we see a lot of CT rounds taken by some of these top teams, but they just couldn't get anything going. Everywhere NiP attacked, even that attack when they went onto long A on the terrace side, and VeryGames had a guy hid behind the door. Sometimes he kills 2 or 3 people. No, the NiP, they were just on point everything. They threw the flash, then someone came in even while half blind and killed that guy instantly. He never got in the game. And then we saw so many times, it felt for VeryGames like, were we even in that CT half? All the time, a couple of them were like, wait, man, I'm always 2v4 and I'm inside the spawn and I've got an AWP and how do I even get out of here? And they weren't even in the game, So the crazy thing is it ended 16-13, so you want me to say, oh, it was an amazing game back and forth.
Yeah.
No. VeryGames had a really big lead early. They blew it completely. They got the odd round here and there just because they're not going to get like 16-0'd, And then NiP very much in control. And the interesting thing was when we were talking about the maps before, VeryGames picked this map. They've still never won Dust 2 against NiP. And I mentioned before, you've won the last 3 series. You've got the formula down. Do you want to take a risk and try and win on the map you never won? Apparently they did. Now they've lost. Now they have to win on their map. Now they have to win on NiP's map, rather, which, again, I actually think is VeryGames' map. So what do you think?
That's a tall order. We're going to take a look at one of the highlight clips we got from that first round.
Here we
that's
go.
Forrest on the pistol round here, CT side.
Yeah, historically, Forrest might be the best pistol round player in Counter-Strike history, maybe across all games, because in CSGO he's very crazy as well, mainly because he has such he has such good single bullet aim, especially with the USP, that he doesn't spam like other players.
Let's see it again.
Yeah, let's see it again in slow motion. I mean, you'll see the player playing against him, everything's going all over the place. He doesn't even stress out when 2 people come in a frame. He just continues. That's the sick thing about people who have amazing aim and then combine it with technique. They don't fret because they're like, my game's so good, I'll stick with the technique, and then I get there in the end,
Yep. Who was the key players here during the first map?
I mean, Forrest was big. Get Right. I wondered before this tournament, was he someone struggling from the reality TV show being here? Was he someone who was a bit down? He was big. It's hard to say who played bad for NiP because, okay, early on they were all playing bad. They couldn't get anything going. But then when they were going well.
Like when they warmed up.
Yeah, when they were doing well, who wasn't playing well? Whereas for VeryGames, I'm amazed actually. This is the only time I think the whole tournament that Shox hasn't really played that well. He was just okay.
We're going to take a look at one of the clips from VeryGames.
Yeah, here we go. This is a big round for them, of course.
And it's Shoxy.
Because look at the round here. Yeah, first 2 kills there. Doing a retake. This man here is going to be the crucial one, of course. Yes. I mean, yeah, Smith isn't often thought of as a highlight player, but that was a big round for them because it gave them a chance. At this point, if NiP goes up 14, they're going to take that map much quicker. It did end up being a close game at the end because VeryGames made a little rally, and NiP also. When you've torn off that massive streak, eventually when it stops a little bit, then you have a little bit of like the momentum loss and you're trying to get back in yourself. But NiP, it felt like they were always going to get this map. I didn't see how VeryGames would tear off the 3 or 4 in a row that they needed, and they didn't. Yeah.
They came back a little bit after this, Scoots, after this round. Was that sort of a Hail Mary for them? Was that like the thing they needed to be able to come back towards the end?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to turn that momentum around, and you don't have many rounds left to do it, And again, they got in a couple situations where the manager should have had the do not peek bat. They peeked when they shouldn't have a few times, and that catches you. You just got to be really careful on that.
What's the next map now that the teams are going to play?
So the next map is Dust 2, and because it was VeryGames' pick, now NiP gets the CT. Now the whole point of actually what we mentioned before about what's good about the thing where when you pick, the other team get to pick the side.
I think you said Dust 2, but it's Inferno.
Oh, Inferno. Sorry, yes, It's Inferno. I liked about the system before, where you pick and they pick the side, is usually that means if you lose the first map, which is theirs, at least you have the pick on the second map. Actually, here we go, NiP. They pick the map, Inferno. VeryGames start to get CT. So if they want to get right back in this game, okay, just rack up. Even if you're not playing that well terrace side, maybe you don't have the T side strats down, just rack up a nice big 9, 10 rounds in a row, and you'll be right back in the series. Everyone will quickly forget about the drama of the first map.
In your opinion, how has the two teams performed on Inferno so far in the tournament?
I mean, we've seen everyone on Inferno this tournament. Yeah. It's been global Inferno.
Yeah, very much so.
Here's the strange thing. I would have said VeryGames have done well because I thought they were good overall. But then they did have the key loss to the Americans, Complexity. But then again, maybe that's a wake-up call for them, and then they'll be more proactive. They won't let themselves get into a situation where they have to win a 4v2 or they have to have this scenario where they can get duped like that. I think definitely NiP will have obviously seen that demo. They'll see what they can take from it. I still favor VeryGames on Inferno. I think that's like one of their best maps to play against NiP. I think they're going to come and level this series up.
All right, Scoots, you have previously said that you're a fan of Inferno. You've seen it many times over the course of this weekend here at the DreamHack Steel Series Counter-Strike Go Championships.
Just a few times we've watched it.
What do you think about Inferno now, and why do you like it so much as a competitive map?
I just think it's really well balanced. You know, notoriously in the history of Counter-Strike, we were talking earlier about Cobble, right? There is no more CT-sided map than Cobble. You know, when you find these maps that which side you start on, especially when it used to be a coin flip, all these different ways to start that, that's great because you want, you know, if you have a bad side, you're not ruined. If you have a bad side on Train or any of these other CT or T-sided maps, depending, you're really behind that 8 ball. Like you can get behind that 8 ball on Train and still have a really good second half. I mean, on Inferno, and I kind of like that it's not that dramatically different from the 1.6 version. Sure, there's some different boxes, but generally the map is very similar in how it plays.
Thorin, with all these high-level teams now coming into play and more organizations get salarized teams, they become more and more professional, do we have enough maps in our map pool for competitive play?
In the map pool of CSGO, the game, there are definitely enough maps. There's actually a map that we're not using here, because here's the key thing. For this tournament, since it's the big World Championship and it's, you know, Valve are involved, we're using the Valve maps, okay? The originals, none of the special editions, none of the changes. A couple of the special editions, I think, are improvements. Some not so much. But we actually have a map called Cash. That's a good map. I like that, actually. We didn't have that in the map pool. That might actually end up playing a factor in this series here, because, crucially, VeryGames had won the 2 only games they'd play on Cash against NiP. So you take one of their maps out of the pool by doing so. I think the key thing is you only need 5 good maps. I'm not sure, I could argue we could go back and forth on 1 or 2 of them, but I like 5 as a number, because then this system of you ban one, you pick one, it means that not only do you get 3 decent maps to play a good series on, but you also get this scenario where you don't have crazy maps where one team's good on it and then another top team can't even play it. They're not even capable. And you don't get these silly scenarios also where teams just don't even want to practice 2 of the maps, and then they're just praying the other team doesn't pick. You know, you can have if you get the map pool too wide, it's harder to practice efficiently.
And that absolutely, that used to happen all the time, especially at the CPLs, because we on North America played a couple maps that literally they would practice the week before they came over. You're familiar with this, right? So we would be like, all right, we're going to win Mill probably because no one plays Mill, or Fire and those kind of maps, but they were good maps. But if they're not universally used in all the leagues and all, you know, and now we have an official matchmaking system. And I think the coolest thing, diverging from just the maps, there's a lot of contention about the version of some of the maps we're using, right? Some would say there's a better version of Mirage out there, there's better versions of Train out there, et cetera. But I do like the fact that the maps these guys are playing on, the pros, are the exact same maps that when I step in and play matchmaking, I'm playing them. That keeps this continuity between the casual guy. When he's watching, he's like, what version of Train is this? What is this? I don't like that. What I like would be these better tweaked maps to become the official maps.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the meantime, I understand exactly why we're going down the road of the matchmaking maps. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it's also key to have the same map, so you know the system and everything. Like you touched upon there, for one time during 1.6, there was this whole debate about American maps, European maps, etc. I was eliminated from my first CPL, summer of 2002, playing an American team on Mill.
Yeah.
didn't know the map,
Absolutely.
didn't practice or weren't able to practice
Yeah.
it, and of course practice and perfecting the strats. It means so much when you come into high-level matches. I want to ask you though, Thorin said 5's a good number map-wise. What do you think? Because there's always the element that you would want to have enough maps to have some diversity, but you wouldn't go too wide because then the quality of the matches on the different maps would probably decrease. What's your thoughts on that?
Again, I think it's a nice magic number, 5, 6 maybe, because again, if we think that best of 3 is the perfect format, then 5 or 6 maps is that extra, right? And I think that's just a solid number. Again, we also can sit here and we've been talking about stats. If you get 12, 15 maps in the pool, you lose this historical presence of Dust 2 for this team because again, it just widens those stats out. And I really liked that you can drill down and go, this is obviously NiP's map, you know, that kind of stuff.
I'm being told that we have some more minutes before we're going to start the second map of the series.
Okay, I'm taking this off. It's getting too hot. I love you eating, but
it's too warm.
I'm sweating right now.
Duncan, we're going to take a look at some images that you brought with you of VeryGames.
Yeah. I've only got
VeryGames is not
few.
a 1.6
No.
team. There's the Kings of Source. Okay, we're going to do NiP first. Can you take us through some of the pictures that you found for us?
So the 2 stars of NiP, Get Right and Forest. We're going to go with Forest first.
Wow.
This is Forest, believe it or not. He's about 16. This is a team Big Grip. They went to this tournament, their first big tournament, WEG, World Esports Games Season 2. They actually beat some Norwegian guy. I don't know even how he got to the final. He got it beaten anyway. These young guys, that's actually Robban. That's Tentpole. So these are guys who went on to become famous superstars, play for SK, Fnatic, etc. This is when Forrest is in Fnatic. Okay, this is around 2006, his breakout year. This is when you really saw, okay, put Forrest in a top team, and he's a superstar, and potentially he can be the best player in the world. That's when he was battling with Neo to see who's going to take that title. If we keep going along here. 2009, the golden year.
Yeah.
They'd had great years where they'd finished lots of tournaments. They'd had one where they'd won a major. This one, they won a major. They won a whole string of tournaments. They won all this money, $50,000. That's pretty good. Not as good as 100,000. They won all this money. Look at this, Get Right. He's joined by Get Right for the first time. We've got Gux here, who just joined the team that year. DSN and Khan were the old members of the core with Forest. That was always the core when in their big teams. He joins their rivals, SK Gaming. Who would ever think that could happen?
He never seems to be nervous or anything in these tournaments. Always kidding
He
around
always
like
has a free-for-all attitude like that. And so the thing with Forest is he joins up with SK. Now he's not with Khan anymore, the guy who's led him for his whole career. He did really well with SK as well. They were a top team, considered the best Swedish at the end of the team. And then here we go, CSGO, NiP. He moves again, new leader again. This time he's with Exist, who he actually hadn't played with before, even though Exist had been in Fnatic after him. Will it work in CSGO? Well, 87-0 offline maps tells you it did. Won about all except something like 5 tournaments. Now we're going to Get Right. Yeah, that's Get Right, believe it or not. look at how old this guy is.
He's around 9 years old here, isn't he?
It's ridiculous how young he is. That's very, very young. I think maybe like 14 or 15 there.
Wow.
But that's the thing in Sweden as well. Their semi-pro scene, people would start when they were 14 or 15.
Yeah.
They'd start going to LANs. They wouldn't be good.
This is why they're so
That's
good.
how you'd get known, though. It's not like you wait until you're good at 18, then you join. Aspect ratio, brilliant on this one. This is when he's in Big Grip. Big Grip, famously, were a team that, like, it seems like everyone who was ever a Swedish player played in Big Grip at some time because it was like the hostel that you stay in before you get the money.
It's like a farm team, if
to
you
go
will,
and
right?
stay in the
for
hotel,
sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Everyone was in him. He was in SK as well, believe it or not. SK tried him out in 2008.
He
Think
got
about
cut.
this. They said, you know, socially it doesn't work. He's a good player, but, you know, maybe he'll find another team. Yeah, he did. Let's see which team he went to next. This is him still when he's trying to prove himself. He was playing the Q Tour, 1v1. He was proving, like, his skills. If we go to the next one, he joins Fnatic as well. He joins up with Forest. SK, like, sorry, mate, you're not cut out for the top now. Fnatic say, oh, well, we'll take him on. He has the best year ever for a Swedish team at the time. SK, he joined SK with Forest. They left together. Initially, it went really bad. Then they quickly turned it around. They were headed towards being the team of the year. Again, aspect ratio is awesome on this. Then he joins NiP. I guess you can see he's an emotional guy. He's very intense. You know, he gets into the game. And I think he's the best player in the history of CSGO.
All right, thank you for that, Thorin. We're going to send it over to our brilliant casters for the second map of this series. It's going to be Inferno, and VeryGames will need to come back if they're going to have a shot at 100K here in the finals of the DreamHack Steel Series Counter-Strike Go Championships.
Thank you very much, Jonas. So, what a game we have in store. Another Inferno, but actually, I know people are tired of Inferno, but this may well be the greatest stage for a game like this. A perfectly balanced map that teams both enjoy playing. No excuses, no nothing. Maybe this is the right setting for this game.
I don't think it's a reason not to like a map because it's being played a lot. It's being played a lot because it's such a good map. And like you said, it's very balanced. Both these teams are good on it. So let's just get going.
Let's get going, but not until I've asked you to put that Lurpus Esports Fund of CPL checks onto our winner for this map.
I'm going to put it on VeryGames because I want a third map,
We all want a third map, my friend.
except NiP. NiP are the only people and their friends who don't want a third map.
I think even some of that great crowd we've got would just love to see this carry on,
I would assume so.
but we'll see. Big numbers on the stream as well for CSGO. Huge, huge numbers in game. We thank you very much for joining us. And
Really nice
Winning.
headshot by Exist there. Taking out Shucks early on. Nice shot through a really small crack.